Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon to my friends across the pond. I am Mark Sebastian. I am your only option. Welcome to the Ticker Highlight Show. Leisha is still a bit under the weather. I'm not sure if she's going to be joining us, but I am joined by two heavyweights. One, Hans Just Turbo at Albrecht, one of our favorites. And of course, the master of flashing seven, the 7-card stud, if you would, the 7-flash stud. I like that.
He
The
will
7
flash you.
Stud.
He will flash you
is
7 times. You get your money's worth.
Exactly. He is Andrew T. Giovinazzi, and this is the Ticker Highlight Show. So today's show, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the major events that are kind of in our way right now, why the market is maybe behaving the way it is. We will then break down some individual names for you to look at that we think could be really nice winners and or losers, one to keep and one to hold. And then I will Andrew and I are going to have a little talk here. Now, immediately following Ticker Highlight Show today, Andrew and Hannah are going to be giving having a discussion about Flash 7, what goes in it, Andrew's long-term retirement approach. It'll be worth your time. That is immediately following this show. So if you're watching us live, make sure you stick around because you are not going to want to miss the 10:30 program that backs off that's going to immediately follow the Ticker Highlight Show here. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the market. And we do have a lot going on this week. If you would like to share my screen, Justin. There you go. The S&P 500 is back above 6,700. Right now, it's showing a clean break over the 21-day. I'd been asking myself if this was a bear flag or if we were just channeling. Today, it appears to be making a little bit of a jump. Now, I'm not going to feel real good until we get at a minimum back up at the open from the 10th. And really, I'd like to see us have some new high closes. What's pushing this? Well, the uncertainty and the high vol, right? This is not outside the last week, this has not been a 20 VIX market for most of the year. Certainly since April, it has not. And, it's because things are very concentrated. And, it's been pushed up by a few small industries. And when those, not small, few huge industries, but when, worries get in there, that's going to take things down. We also have things like the government shutdown. Later this week, Frank will be on to kind of lay out what's happening there. I think the government shutdown is, starting to move beyond the this is a cute little government shutdown into something potentially more serious. In the coming days, we have the Federal Reserve that's going to be on the 28th. And we also will have CPI this week. It's coming out on Friday. They're not doing the Bureau of Labor Statistics is not releasing many of its economic indicators. However, CPI is one they are going to continue to publish, even in the midst of this shutdown that will come out on Friday. So be ready for that. That's kind of where the fireworks land. We had most of the major banks report last week. JP Morgan had some really nice earnings, and for that, it got sold. It's sitting just below 300. Goldman Sachs, pretty similar story. You're going to notice a pattern. Morgan Stanley looking a little healthier relative to in terms of post-earnings strength. Citigroup is another one that's, look at this. Pops on earnings, gets some follow through, sells right back down. Now we're rallying back. There's some confusion around these mega banks. probably the best performer of that group. One that is definitely not sitting at these crazy highs relative to where it's been. Bless you, is a Wells Fargo. Now, Wells Fargo's had a nice few years, but this was the bank up until their financial advisor scandal. 7 years ago. They're finally allowed to grow as a bank again. So Wells Fargo is an interesting one. Those are kind of what's reported, and I'm going to be looking for some special situation trades around some of these banks. We also have Netflix reporting later in the week. It has definitely been channeling. And the biggest stock reporting this week is going to be Tesla on the 22nd after the close. That's going to be Wednesday. Most of the other major stocks don't report until next week along with the Fed. So just get ready, folks. If the government shutdown ends in a very short period of time, we're going to get September payrolls, October payrolls, Federal Reserve. You're going to have earnings in Apple, in Amazon, Microsoft, Meta. I mean, it's going to, and Google. I mean, that is the only other stocks that will, out of those, like those Grade 8 Mag 7, be NVIDIA next month, and Broadcom reports off schedule. They're not to December. So these next 2 weeks, we've got Tesla and Netflix, and then we have those 5 behemoths next week. The only other kind of trillion-dollar company that is reported so far is TSM, and those earnings were pretty good. So it does bode well. All right. Now, talking so that's where we are, what's set up in the market. Sets up all kinds of opportunities. Andrew is going to be doing his next 3 picks in Flash 7 this afternoon. He already put out next 2, excuse me. He already put out 1 on Friday, so that'll be a total of 3, excuse me. So he's doing 2 more, and then beyond that, there's going to be another 4 at a minimum. So you are going to want to check out Flash 7 and what Andrew has going there. And to do that, you just need to make sure that you stick around immediately following this meeting. I'm going to ask Andrew a little bit about it here in a little bit. But looking at that, I continue to really like the Russell 2000. But the reason I like the Russell 2000 is that I see the strength in the bond market. We had a really nice run into the last Federal Reserve meeting for TLT. Gave back a little, as they typically do, right? Buy the rumor, sell the news. And look where we are right now. We're getting more buy the rumor. We still have 8 days to the Fed, and you are getting lots of buy the rumor in these interest rate sensitive stocks like TLT, which is the 20-year plus bond fund, like IEF, which is the 7 to 10-year bond fund, and like the Russell 2000, which is obviously small caps and is going to carry a lot of exposure to interest rates. You're also seeing it in banks. Now, there's some issues in the mid-cap banks. If the mid-cap banks didn't have some bad loans going, I'd be all over a name like KRE. But I am not, because they have, I'd like to see them get through some of these loan issues. But KRE looks, if you believe they're going to work through these loan issues without any of these banks rolling over and blowing up, then there's a real opportunity. Or you can look at some of these names that are not tied into some of the loan problems, like a Fifth Third, which is merging with Comerica, and say, there might be some opportunity there. So personally, I think there's an opportunity for TLT to get over $92, maybe 95. And IEF, I think it's going to get back over 100. The bonds in general look pretty nice. Another thing that looks pretty nice, Bitcoin finally having an up day. I don't think we're there yet, but keep an eye on Bitcoin. We may not get that doom loop that worries. The fact that Bitcoin's up with the market may be the most bullish signal that we could have this morning. But near term, I like TLT. On the downside, and I know it's popping, I just don't get what has changed between Monday that is pushing Apple up 2.5%. They're not particularly interest rate sensitive. Some sort of rare earth compromise with China would probably be pretty nice. But I didn't see anything specific to Apple that makes me say, wow, I want to own this. Earnings are coming up next week, so I'd want to play in a kind of a short-term short. But that is the play that I would play on the short side, and obviously today is a better day to do it than Friday. So those are the two I'm watching. We'll get to Andrew in a second. I want to swing it over to Hans. Hans just turbo at Albrecht. Hans, what are you looking to add, and what are you looking to pass on?
Good morning, guys, and good morning, everyone. So, yeah, I mean, look, the Energizer Bunny market just keeps going every time we think, things are going to kind of cool off a little bit. Now, we have seen a little pullback in higher beta names, the Oklos of the world, still coming down, Nebius, things like that. Last week I talked about the broadening, and IWM took a little hit from those regionals, but it's building back again. And, some of my favorite trades are getting going a little bit here. So, the Microns, the Googles, Apple, I kind of don't mind. I think it's sort of AI in your pocket. So it's not a cheap stock. I agree, Mark, but, I think they're kind of, people are putting a glass half full on a lot of things right now. So, I think overall, if you look at the broader environment, we've got rate cuts into delinquency rates kind of peaking. Everybody kind of got excited there for a bit over Tricolor and a few issues. I think those are rather unique. I could be wrong, but I think those are rather unique situations. Tricolor was really kind of 75% immigrant population. Guess what's happening there? Well, with ICE and people getting kicked out of the country, car loans soured in a hurry. So very kind of unique situation there. But if you look at general delinquency rates, they're really not flashing any alarm bells at all right now. So in fact, some of them are starting to head in the right direction, believe it or not. Remains to be seen if that continues with the job situation out there. But in any case, my idea this week, my two ideas, one to love, one to leave. They're both kind of high beta, right? They're both kind of exciting kinds of areas. But one of them, my one to love, is the AI and genomics area. So my idea is ARKG, which is having a super run today. Hope you guys read this last week. I don't know how many times we have to tell you, but if you're not reading this stuff, you're missing out on huge opportunities. So we talked about that. It's having a massive move. So I think as compute costs come down, and I'll tell you about my one to leave, because I think that one's kind of ahead of the game a little bit. But my one to love here is that genomic kind of space, because as compute, a lot of things are moving in the right direction for that, right? AI is going to help to make discoveries. It's going to, the cost of having to go through the process of discovery is going to compress in time, and the costs are going to plunge 75, 85% over time. And now, scientists are able to do things they couldn't do very quickly before, modeling the human body. The human body is this massive data network. And what's AI all about? It's about taking data and making sense of it and grabbing as much as you can. We're going to see unbelievable innovation over the next 5 to 10 years in the healthcare space. We just can't even imagine what it's going to be like. And we're already seeing some of that stuff. Meta has this model that actually discovered a new molecule, this sort of ESM3, they call it. Right? It's a protein that doesn't exist in nature. And so the idea is that the kind of tagline here is AI isn't just studying life; it's actually starting to design it. It's going to start accelerating the benefits on that side of the fence. So I think that's a very interesting place. It's a higher beta place. We know bio is very very up and down, but I think that's very interesting because it really AI feeds into that very, very well. Now, the second one to leave is quantum computing for me. I think those stocks have just gone bananas. So if you look at in my post, in my newsletter, I said, listen, quantum computing, they say it's a little bit more ahead more ahead of things than we think. But in my view, it's still a little bit behind the cycle. If you sort of look at the Gartner cycle of the way innovation kind of, ebbs and flows, I think it could be a little longer. And so we've seen some of these stocks sort of quadruple over time. That's an area where maybe things have gotten a little bit hot there. I'm not saying it's a bad thing over time. But right now, if I had to choose one beta over another beta, I'm going with ARKG.
All right. Yeah. I mean, this one looks real strong. And you can see the options are pricing in some real momentum. Movements going up. I don't hate the stock. And there's plenty of room for this thing to rally. Oh my gosh. Look at this. This thing back in 2022 was in the 40s and peaked out in the booming times of 2021 over 100. So yes, it's had a nice little rally here off the lows, but there is a lot of room for this name to rally. I mean, even
this
if we
is the moment, Mark. And what I like about what I like about this kind of area is that it just has that explosive potential, right? It's like AI is going to help a trucking company, improve their productivity, their sort of efficiencies. But this is an area where you have this unbelievable explosive possibility there, right? So it's for a specific part of your portfolio, but it is one where anything can happen, and so that's really, really exciting. And frankly, I think it's glass very half full at this point, given what these companies are going to be able to accomplish with a lot less money, a lot less time. It's going to be mind-blowing stuff. So I think it's kind of a must-have, at least a little bit of exposure there. And this is a nice diversified way because, there's CRISPR, there's all these companies. Do we really know who's going to figure this out? That's the problem. So a diversified approach. That's why I didn't pick a specific stock. I picked the sort of sector in a sense. And that makes me more comfortable in that area. Whereas in semiconductors, I want to be in Micron right now and not, Broadcom, for example.
Gotcha. So this is more the shotgun approach to investing in Genome than, using a sniper rifle. I like it. And what's your one to leave here, Hans?
That was Rigetti Computing. So, man, this is a stock. I've been watching it since $14, and I think it went up to $50. And yeah. I think that's just that's got to be a little bit challenged at that point. We've seen a pullback to, to 45 from 60. But that's an area where I'm not sure I'd be comfortable holding that for the next 6 months, as an example. Whereas the other one, I could be convinced.
Yeah, ARKG is an investment. This is a trade. And right now that trade looks a little tired. The whole quantum space does. And I always laugh. This has a $15 billion valuation on $7.9 million of revenue. I mean,
deep value. It's deep value there.
It is. This is yeah. I mean, that's not even a PE ratio. That's a price. I mean, if that was if they had 8 million in earnings in that market cap, I would think it was ridiculous. Yeah. This is their revenue. So you are taking a big swing buying and holding this one.
I think the deli down the road for me has better revenue than these guys.
I probably. So speaking of men who like a good Italian delicatessen, and could relate to someone with the last name Rigetti, let's bring on our own Andrew Giovinazzi, and
so Mark, as a friendly reminder, we are off at 10:30. We have 7 minutes.
Yes, I know.
All right. Just
so what is your one to like, and what is your one to
I
like?
will make mine quick. My one to like is Amazon. I have my screen up on it, or somebody can put it up.
I got it.
Real simple. and I think this has been the problem with the AI boom is Amazon will likely be one of the bigger beneficiaries of AI. But they have not yet. Real simply, all of the other stocks have gotten, all the other big tech chip stocks have been making a bunch of dough. Also, yeah, AWS, they got hit this morning.
Mhm.
It is not a short-term play because we have earnings and things like that, which makes it kind of tough. They're also working on a little health aspect, trying to replace some higher item health costs. So this is kind of filtering into my Maha theme a little bit. I like Amazon as a longer-term long right now. Option volatilities are relatively high because of earnings coming out. But this is a longer term play for me, but it's in my Maha theme. My short is on last week. If you read this, it's what I love. Last week, what was it, like Wednesday or Tuesday? I wrote this up. IBIT was trading, I don't know, 63. It dropped to 60. It's back to 62. I just thought that as last week's volatility was rising, Bitcoin would be falling. And that's because normally how it happens. Right now, though, it's sort of rallying as the market picks up steam. So I'm not as short-term short on this one anymore. Now that the volatility is starting to hold up, I would be more like, wait a minute on that short idea.
And I really like Amazon here. Andrew, out of your picks, I'll be quick. I got to tell you, I like Amazon the best. They do have earnings next week, so this will be a short hold. They report on the 30th, so we got to be out by Monday. But I do see real upside here. It's probably, like you said, it's one of the major mega names that really has not gotten a bit of a lift. And these options are going to really hold up because of earnings. So I am looking at the October 31st. So earnings are the 30th. So we'd be out before then. I'm looking at the October 31st, 220 calls. They're $6.50. That's a lot. Some of that's baked in from earnings. So, if this dropped $10, they would still be holding a ton of value. They'd still be over $3.
Right.
So our downside risk is not nearly as much as $6. And I do like the stock going, and I think the stock's going to make a nice run to 220.
Yep, that's kind of what I'm thinking there.
I like that name.
Yep.
So I will put this in here. I will write this up for everybody. This will be a public post. I'm going to do buy to open Amazon.
I get to race everybody this morning. Oh boy.
25. 220 calls for less than 650.
All right, I'll put in a 640 bid.
So there it is. Andrew, and I'll throw since we're done here. Andrew, what are you? You and Hannah are going to be talking to everybody here in just a minute. We can get rid of this one too. And what's you're doing this Maha-based Flash 7. Now, Flash 7 is a longer-term approach, and you use this in your retirement account, correct?
That is correct. Sorry, I'm just putting my bid in for the Amazon calls. Yeah, basically, this is how I go and find some long-term picks to add to my account. So generally, for Flash, all the Flashes I've done, I bought stock and options, to be honest. So you can spend 10 times the amount on the stocks or a fraction of it on the options. This is a good way to look for stocks that are growing or they're going up and gaining institutional interest. That is the idea of all the Flash series. And we're going to show you the methodology. Hannah finally came up like, Andrew, you got to come up with a way here that we can show people how to do this. You can't use the force anymore. So you're getting an idea of how the trades go from beginning, middle, and end. And that's what we're going to be covering today.
That's amazing. So what I'm going to
650
do
on the Amazon.
Yes, 650. So what I'm going to do is say goodbye to Hans. Hans, have a great morning. That was our ticker highlight show. And I'm going to invite on. So we're going to say, have a good week to Hans. And we're going to say, welcome to Hannah. So we're going to replace a Hans with a Hannah.
Oh my goodness. I see what you did there, Mark.
Yeah.
Mark, thank you so much. I'm going to steal the mic from you. You guys that
Absolutely.
are here, the trade is at the bottom of the screen. Our ticker highlight show free trade for today. It's buy to open Amazon October 31st, 2025, 220 calls for less than 650. You can also see in the bar over here, pointing in the right direction, I hope. In the sidebar, you can actually click to the track record of our free portfolio. So you can see how the picks before this have done. We have a great track record on the trades that we give in the ticker highlight show. So if I'm you and you're looking for something that you can do today, I would check out this trade. Mark, thanks so much. I'm going to take it and we'll get things moving with Andrew.
Have a great day, everybody. Make sure you're paying attention here. There's going to be some
Andrew,
good
I
stuff.
brought you a surprise. I have 2 surprises for you. Are you ready? Justin, can you make us
I
full
get 2?
screen? Full
All
screen.
right.
I have 2 things I want to show Andrew this morning and everyone here. First of all, is anyone here from Maine? That is where Andrew lives. And I'm curious if any of you have been to this restaurant. It's called Jordan's. It's in Bar Harbor. Have you been to this place, Andrew?
No, I haven't.
I went here last year because I delusionally thought it would be a good idea to run a half marathon in Maine in the fall, which if you're going to put yourself through something like that, at least do it in fall season in Maine. So it was beautiful. But this place in Bar Harbor says that they have the best wild blueberry pancakes, and they definitely were. So the next time, Andrew, that I'm in Maine, you and I are making a little road trip.
Okay.
And we're going to
Yeah,
go.
that's that's a good I guess I'm trying to think of when blueberries are in season. It's like end of summer season.
I think it's the fall. I think that's why it was a double whammy, because the leaves are beautiful and the blueberry pancakes are at their peak.
Yep.
Are you a pancake fan, Andrew? What do you like on your pancakes?
I definitely will eat them. Yes, I won't turn them away. So yes.
Okay, that's my first surprise. Here's my second one. I'm wondering if anyone here knows things about household plants, because I have this plant that was about to die and I have somehow revived it over the last few months. And I'm going to show it to you now. I don't know what it is. Does anyone know what this is? It's got these nice purple right on the underside of the leaves. And it's green on the top. Does anybody know?
Is it kind of? I don't know.
I took this over. Someone had it and it was dying. And I was like, here, let me try to revive it. And it's beautiful. And I'm just proud that I haven't killed it. So I'm showing everyone here today. Let me know if you know what this is. I'll have to try to look it up on the internet.
Jerry was saying lavender.
You can do that thing where you search photos on the internet and it'll kind of tell you what it is. So maybe I'll have to try that. All right. Andrew, let's talk about Flash 7. You put on a new trade on Friday. You have 2 that are coming this afternoon. For anyone who showed up today and has no idea what Flash 7 is or option fingerprints, let's just give them a quick overview. Can you define for everyone here what option fingerprints are and why you use this as your main way to find stocks to buy now?
Yeah. Option fingerprints are long-term open interest, specifically leaps, where I watch accumulation on those option contracts. And normally from stocks that have sort of underperformed for a while, and then the institutional interest starts to build in them. It's not a momentum strategy. It's not a momentum strategy. It is a strategy, because the momentum, the fingerprint's already there. Like the institutions are already piling in. You know what I mean? They're already like, this is when you want to see like sectors that were in favor. And not unlike that picture Hans showed everybody today, right? You had that ARKG, right? Where ARKG was $120, that Kathy Woods fund. Now it's come all the way back down again. right? And it's starting to pick up. So an interesting thing would be like, is this picking up any long-term option buying? You know, well, the funny thing is, are institutions buying this institutional product?
Sure.
Right, with ARCG, because it does have a little Maha flavor. There are some stocks in ARCG that I am looking at, and of course, this will be what our, I guess we'll call it an app or appliance that will help us find these, because
Right.
that's sort of the next iteration of what we're doing here.
Right. So Jerry said in the chat, Flash 7 Plus is a great portfolio diversification. I'm going to add to that. So every quarter, and soon this is going to become an ongoing process, because we're developing a scanner to basically take what Andrew is doing in his brain and on these back tests to find these stocks. And we're building a machine that will do it all the time.
Right.
So instead of releasing these maybe quarterly, where Andrew has a big group of opportunities, like we're doing right now, we're in the middle of doing that for these Make America Healthy Again stocks, which basically are stocks that, you know, after Trump was elected and RFK came in and the whole administration talked about kind of getting toxins out of your food. So, you know, they've targeted, I saw something in the grocery store last week that fruit roll-ups got rid of their dyes or unnatural flavors, and now they're like natural flavored fruit roll-ups. So basically a lot of these companies for a short period of time kind of got crushed because of this regulation that was coming in. And now there are several of them that Andrew has pinpointed that he's going to be trading and is trading right now that have turned around and are on the upside. So Andrew, you've used this same format. So taking a stock that's maybe been a little beat up,
Right.
checking out what the institutional interest, and that means hedge funds, big banks, maybe some individuals like Warren Buffett,
Right.
basically people who can scoop up huge groups of stock and options. You've been tracking how those institutions are buying certain stocks.
Yep.
Because for those of you that have been listening to Andrew and I talk about this for the last week or so, a stock can't go from 10 to 20 or 50 to 100 or 100 to 200 without institutions doing this. It's basically a prerequisite. In fact, I'd go as far to say, Andrew, to use a Mark phrase, correct me if I'm telling tales outside of school, but I would even go as far as to say that institutions basically decide which stocks will go from 10 to 20 or 50 to 100 because of this.
Well, exactly, because they're the ones that are buying them. It's like, well, just the simplest thing I can imagine is BlackRock got into Bitcoin 2 years ago. Okay. The largest money manager on the face of the planet. Now, I just want to tell you, how fast did the conversation about Bitcoin change once they launched an ETF a couple of years ago? I'm like, did it double since then? So
Just
when
a little more than.
when institutions decide that this is an investable class, an investable stock, they go up. And the only way I have found where you could see more, call it real-time, a real-time fingerprint, right, of what they're doing, because they'll say what they're doing quarterly, but what you want to do is see what they're going to do on day-to-day basis, right? You can't really see institutional flow day-to-day,
Right.
but you can see if they're going to buy 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 options that are going to expire 1-2 years. So and again, the only way I came up with this was just being a floor trader, watching somebody buy 500 calls that were, like I said, $10 out of the money. And I never thought about it. Like we'd all sell some, right? The crowd would each sell 50 or 100 each. And then, you know, a year later or 2 years later, I'm like, wow, this guy made a lot of money on these things. And he didn't do very much, right? So that's institutions. By their nature, they have a longer term time frame, right? They want to be efficient with their money. So the thing is, they're going to hold. They're not in to buy a long-term call for $1, right? They're not going to spend $10 on a call and then make $1 and sell it. They're going to spend $10 on a call and they're going to watch it go up $25 or $30. Then they'll sell it, or maybe take delivery of the shares or sell something against, but they're in it for the move. They're not in it. You're not buying a 1-2 year option for
right.
small.
So the big point here is institutions take positions, long-term option positions on certain stocks, very specific stocks, and they kind of do it in waves. Right now, there's a wave of institutions that are buying long-term options in 7 stocks. These are the Flash 7 stocks that you're watching right now. And you told me this morning, Andrew, that you actually have a few more. So Flash 7 may actually turn into like Flash 9 or Flash 10. There's some other opportunities that you're tracking where you see institutions buying up long-term options. So Friday, you put on your first stock and option play. This afternoon, you're adding the next 2. One of them is like a $30 stock and the other one's like $18.
Yep.
Again, both names that are seeing significant option fingerprints. So I want to show everyone here right now what that actually looks like. We're going to talk about the 2 stocks this afternoon and exactly how they've passed Andrew's 4-filter system, which every Flash stock or option has to go through. So I'm going to show you guys on the screen right now.
Right? This is a preview kind of what to expect.
Right. So far, the way that Andrew finds these stocks, he's doing it on his own manually. We're in the process of building a scanner that's going to do this filtering process on its own. So I'm going to take 2 minutes and walk you through what this would look like. For anyone who's listening today, this is something that you should be interested in because it makes this hands off for you. What I mean by that is this is something that you could have on your own computer. You have your own access to it, and you can actually watch this filtering process happen live. So let's walk through it step by step. We start with all 500 stocks in the S&P 500. That's all the stocks that are eligible to try to see this type of institutional buying. From there, we move to our first filter. This is Andrew's first filter, and he's looking for a certain stock move. Now, we can't tell you what the exact percentage is. That's proprietary information. But what you'll see is only certain stocks will fit this filter. So we might go from 500 down to 122. Now, again, this is an example, okay? I'm walking through an example. From there, Andrew's looking for a stock rebound. There's a certain percentage, like I was saying earlier, these stocks kind of get beat up. They get suppressed. He's looking for that stock to rebound because, Andrew, you're not trying to catch a bottom here. We're not, that's like catching a falling knife. We're not trying to do that.
Stocks going down, I tend to ignore, or you try to just, the short side, everyone, a short side trade. I don't try to find a bottom on it.
Right. You kind of want to get out of the way. So
yeah,
this filter is built in that you are already picking stocks that are on the upswing. So using both of those filters, you might go all the way down from 500 to 30. Okay. Then we're going to filter again for earnings. We have some earnings criteria. So you might go from 30 to 14. And then from here's our last filter, which is the most important. And we're looking for an option fingerprint. Now, when Andrew talks about institutional buying, these hedge funds, big banks coming in and buying long-term options in an $18 stock or long-term options in an $8 stock. Andrew, we looked last week at the monetary value of some of the options buying behavior that we see from institutions. And it would be like a $3.6 million trade on an $8 stock. That sounds as crazy as it sounds for a reason.
Right.
This institutional buying is irregular. It's not normal. And that's exactly what we want to zero in on to find these trades. So let's look at for the 2 stocks that Andrew's going to be putting on today. Let's go through the 4 filters and let's see what we hit in each category. So are you guys with me so far? Give me a yes in the chat. Let me know you're following along. For those of you that have Flash 7, I hope you're very excited for this afternoon. Andrew is really looking forward to giving these trades. He's been messaging me about it all weekend. He said the option fingerprint's growing. He sent me some messages, and we're going to show you right now. When Andrew's excited,
you're like, Andrew, shut up! I'm watching the game.
What a game! Did you watch that, Andrew?
No, I didn't.
For those of you who don't know me, I live in Denver, Colorado, so I obviously watched the Broncos last night, which was one of the worst games at the beginning, and then very quickly one of the more exciting games I've ever watched. So, yeah, I was like, can we please talk about this tomorrow, Andrew? I'm in the middle of something. All right, let's look. So if we have the 7 stocks, and I'm kind of we're working from the chicken back to the egg here. But Andrew already has these 7 stocks. Of course, we had to black out their names here. You have to be a member to get access to these. But your first criteria, Andrew, looking for that stock move. The 2 stocks you'll be trading today, Flash Stock 2 and 3, it looks like they hit these back in July.
Yep.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yep.
And then would you say that's like normal timing for these to hit in July and this to be October and we're getting kind of to the finish line? What's that normally look like?
Well, it's usually a couple of months because, or it could be less, but the first part is the stock has to make a low. So
Right.
again, I don't know when that's going to happen. It's sort of like we're waiting for that to happen, and then it kind of goes on the counter, right? Like, okay, well, now it's made a low.
Right.
And then from there, but I don't know when you don't know when it makes a low that day, right? 3 weeks later, you're going to know it makes a low.
Right.
That's why we have filter 2, right? Because
Right.
but what's interesting though, from our point of view is now what will happen is stocks making new lows will be delivered in real time. So,
Right.
okay.
Right. So
Right.
what we're showing you guys right now that just lives in this Excel sheet that I mocked up.
Right.
This will live inside of an actual scanner. So I can load that scanner at any time and I can see, okay, in filter 1, I see 45 stocks that have exhibited this stock move. And that will change throughout the day, right? So it might go down to 38 if the stock pops back up or whatever. It might go up to 47. You would see these actually move in real time. So we're looking for that stock move. Here's the dates that these 2 stocks actually hit it. And then we're looking for the rebound next, which these both happened relatively quickly, I would say, after that stock move, right, Andrew?
Right. And that's another reason why I don't look at them when they're going down for this. I'm more interested in, and you're like, okay, it's down lower. Like, I don't, unless you want to ride a short down, but if you're looking for a bounce, I don't care until basically the market starts to care.
Filter 2 is your sort of bell that says, hey, pay attention to this.
Yep.
From there, you have earnings criteria. So what this means, just loosely for you guys here, is Andrew's looking for some profitable earnings reports. We have specific criteria exactly he's looking for. He's basically trying to see that the company is trending in the right direction. So you can kind of see the timeline for each of these stocks, what it has looked like, okay? So we're back in July, we hit filter 1. July and August, we hit filter 2. Filter 3, this is much more recently in September and then just the very beginning of October. So you can kind of see as these stocks are moving through the process here. And then we get the option fingerprint, which our target here is we need to see that institutional interest that Andrew's looking for go up by 40%. Now, the trade that Andrew put on Friday, we're seeing huge option fingerprint increase over 1,500%.
Yeah.
This trade is actually already on. Is this still in a good range, Andrew, for people if they were to join today?
It's moving a little higher today, which is a good thing, but it's not out of range yet.
Right. And again, these are long-term option plays. So Andrew's looking, these are 6 month, 9 month, a year out. It's not like he's going to take this option off, but for those of you who maybe aren't Flash 7 members and who joined today, this trade would still be within
still live.
Andrew's
It's still
target.
There.
Good.
Still there.
And then for Flash Stock 2 and 3, here's the option fingerprint increase. We got 139% on this one and 64% on this one. Now, we do have another, I think, that has hit some criteria. And then, as Andrew said, there's a couple more he's eyeing that he's just waiting for the option fingerprint to increase. So anything else you can tease, Andrew, about these 2 stocks that you're actually going to be putting on the stock and option play today at 3 p.m.?
Besides show up at 3 p.m. to get them? No, I think, one is, again, they fit in my Maha theme. So sometimes, and this is how, and it's weird how it works like this. And what we described is, the market loves things again, I liked Hans today in the ticker highlight show. Market love quantum computing, even though it's years away. Took the stocks up to highs. There's no earnings, there's no anything on them, and who knows where they're going to be in 3 weeks, right? Again, those are not what I would call option fingerprint plays, so to speak. But the thing is, it's mostly the market loves things, and then they could hate all those stocks down 50, 60% just as much.
Right.
So will there be a pickup? Maybe there will be. But the whole point is, this is a group of stocks that were, as soon as RFK was appointed, they all spent the year going down. And when you're at don't forget, when you're at a market at all-time highs, right? You want, plus again, a market at all-time highs, like you have the leaders, the NVIDIAs, the AMDs, the stuff like that, but they're already pretty, they're pretty pricey already. So part of this is, I want stocks that are $15 to $30 that can go to, $25 and $45, right?
Right.
And this is not, these are not hard pulls to get, because they were just there in November. We're not, so again, that's why we have the stock move, you have the rebound, you have the earnings turnaround. And then institutional open interest is just what? Analysts, researchers, large funds looking for the exact same thing, right? Okay, we have enough NVIDIA. All right, great company. Let's, but they have money that they have to start to put to work and buy things, right? That's an institutional mandate. It's a pension fund mandate.
Right.
So that's how the opportunities in general come about. But the whole point of this as a trading system is, I'm not trying to go out and look for opportunities all over the place. I'm just waiting for the opportunities to present themselves to us first, which is the idea of, using the scanner and making it an appliance on a desktop for me. So it's going to be, because I used to kind of do the old hunt and peck method, just learning, seeing what's moving. And then once something gets onto the radar screen, then looking at how it develops every week.
Which is, I think, how a lot of people trade. And if you're here today and you also trade that way, know that Andrew does trade that way sometimes. So does Mark. So does Hans. They are like anyone else. And when a shiny opportunity pops up and is staring them in the face, they're going to go grab it. That is always going to be a part of trading. Our goal with this is to build a tool that takes some of the mental lift off of Andrew so that he is not scanning on his own 500 stocks looking for a stock move. Okay, I got 47. Now I got to look at those 47 stocks and see which ones fit my stock rebound. Then I got to look at stock earnings. That's dozens of hours trying to go through that for a worthwhile result. These are stocks and options that Andrew wants to own long term. And you've been doing this on your own, the way I just laid out, for over a decade. But we are building this into a tool right now. So you can actually get access to this tool early. Okay. We are doing a pre-sale where this tool is a part of just a lifetime subscription to Flash 7. So Ryan, I know you're here today and Ted is here. You guys can post the phone number in the chat. If you want to figure out if you can get access to this tool early, if you have questions about being a Flash 7 lifetime member, please give us a phone call. Andrew is putting on these next 2 stocks today. Okay. So if you want to buy the stock subscription or the option subscription, you have 2 choices. One, you'll just get the 7 stock names. That's just plain Flash 7. And then if you go Flash 7 Plus, you'll get the 7 stock names and also the corresponding option trades. And on the stock place, Andrew's looking for a doubling. So it's an $8 stock. He's looking for it to go to 16. And on the option plays, he's looking for more than that. The option play Andrew put on Friday costs $1.25. and he has a $4 target. So that kind of gives you a
Yes.
feel what he's looking for on the options.
And I buy the options and the stock on a ratio, like not, but just as for an allocation. So if you have an X number of dollars allocated, so I planned if I'm planning to buy 7 options and say I allocate $2,500 to buy 7 options, I will do how much I'm spending per up. It will be based on those dollars. And then for the equity portfolios, I generally allocate like $25,000 to $30,000 per equity portfolio. You could do fractional if you just want to look at the stocks and just do fractional, like 10 shares, 20 shares, whatever, whatever you can do. But I do allocate right on allocation as part of any trading strategy. So you don't want one stock to upset the apple cart, and you expect, to get good performance out of your stocks.
I'm sure you'll discuss allocation more today at 3 when you meet with everyone.
Correct. Yep.
Andrew's 3 p.m. today, where he will be meeting with all Flash 7 members and giving these stocks and options. It's live. So Andrew will be just like you see him now, so handsomely coming to you in your living room or on your phone or in your office this morning. It'll be the same format at 3 p.m. He'll even share his screen, show you himself putting on the trades, walking through the stocks and the options. So for anyone who has never traded an option before or who is new to this, this is a perfect format for you to get started trading options. A pro trader with 35 years experience is going to walk you through it. So that's 3 p.m. today. The next 2 Flash 7 stocks and options are going on. The first one Andrew did Friday, but you can still get on that trade. And then over the next couple of weeks, Andrew, you'll have the rest of these alerts.
That's exactly right. So, and of course, the granddaddy, of course, will be when things, we start to do the work for us. But yes,
right.
All the alerts will be coming, like getting into the trade, managing the trades, because markets do market things, and getting out. And we have done stuff in the past, rolling up. If we think, you get house money where you take the profits on one and then just go buy a call for free and watch it rip. So there's all kinds of now people are alerting to me some weekly profit cycles. We just had a little win on some calls. So yes, I already put the alert out this morning on it, but hopefully people did what they're supposed to do in there. So woohoo, go us, go winning.
If you guys have any questions, our customer service team will be here for just a minute in the chat. I really encourage you, click that button above. That's going to take you to the order form to join Flash 7. You'll see 3 different options on there. Like I said, you can do just the stocks, you can do the stocks and the options, or you can do the lifetime, which will have the stocks, the options, and you will get a subscription to this scanner when it comes out. It's looking like a couple of weeks for us to actually finalize this. So we have a development team that's in the process of building this right now. And we've seen a couple of iterations, but we're refining it. So it'll be a couple of weeks. But if you buy the lifetime subscription, you can actually get access to this right now. So give us a phone call. The number is below on this screen, or click that form. If you guys have any questions, you can pop them in the chat here. The customer service team will be here for a minute. You can see in the chat, Ted posted the 3 options. So you can see that right there. If you have a special case scenario, hey, I've done some Flash before, I want to try this, give us a call. If you have any questions, give us a call. Yeah,
and if you have questions, if you buy Flash 7 or Flash Plus and you want to see if you can apply that to a lifetime,
sure.
Ask. Just say, hey, Ted, like what can I do? I've got Option Pit subscript. What can I do? So they are happy to help you.
Andrew, we're going to send you to Rip Zone in just a second here, where you will be live trading. But thank you for joining me this morning. I appreciate you hanging out for an extra 30 minutes so that we can talk to everyone about some of the option fingerprints that are coming today. Very exciting.
All right. I am too. I just all of a sudden the market's just waking up.
We love it. Good timing.
Well, I
will-
know the timing is good. And I'm looking at my stocks. My stocks are they're going up. I hopefully they don't go up too much though.
I will see you today at 3. I'm excited to put on these positions. I hope that you guys that are here today join us. Again, give us a call, click that button. Make sure that you join Flash 7 before 3 p.m. today, where we'll be putting on the new positions.
All right. This is very exciting.
Thank you, Andrew. I'll see you in a little bit.
All right. Thank you, Hannah. All right. Bye-bye. See everybody
Bye.
at 3 o'clock. Bye-bye.